Hey guys, welcome to Babetalk. Before we get into any real business, on behalf of all the staff here, on behalf of all the panelists and everyone that listens to the show, I want to extend our condolences to everyone that's in Paris. They recently had gone through three attacks that had left 129 dead and 352 injured. And it hits very close to home, especially with one of the attacks hitting a music venue that was within a small scene. So it's an awful thing that happened. We hope that it never happens around here again. And fuck extremists. I think we covered everything, guys. Is that kind of accurate?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. Now there's no other way to kind of awkwardly jump into real excitement coming off of that real tragedy. But hey, guys, welcome to Babe Talk.
I think that was a good segue. That was a good one.
That was a good segue? Okay, all right. So we got a great show. We're going back to our pop-punk roots. We're getting some awesome people on the show. We have Michael from Boys of Fall out of Detroit.
What's going on?
What's up? Yeah, what's going on? I love that deep voice that we have going on. We need, like, a good voice around here. Considering how James doesn't have one. What's up, James?
Fuck you, man. I need to do this shit, right?
It's only out of love, James, because I love you. So that's James. He's on the show today. We have Carly that's also on the show.
Hi.
What's up, girl? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I couldn't find a hat today, so I'm wearing a beanie for all those listening at home, which aren't. And we got my co-host, Melissa. Melissa, suppy.
Low-key probably have a deeper voice than James.
Waking up like Morgan Freeman every day.
Today just going to be Rip on James Day. Is that what this is?
Yeah,
well,
sorry,
you know
James,
what?
I love you. I had to.
I've like shatted on Melissa for so long, and I don't think I've shatted on James for quite some time because he's been saving my ass. And I think I've now come to the point in which like James has saved my ass enough that I can just be like, you know what, I can shit on him for like a episode and then just go back to kissing his ass for about like a month or so.
And have that comfortability between friends.
The comfortability between friends. If you can't shit on your friends, then why do you even have them? So we start off the episode all the time by asking our guests and panelists how their week was. And you know what? We'll start with James. James, how was your week, sir?
Pretty interesting. Mainly just been studying for a lot of tests. Like it's near the end of the semester, so everything's just kind of been piling up a little bit. But the most two notable things that happened is one, my band is going to be releasing a debut EP this Friday. Check that out. It'll be sick. It's like really cool metalcore shit.
You did not tell me at all that your band was releasing anything like anytime soon.
I've been really out of it, so I haven't been able to talk about it as much as I should have.
You know, just like important casual band info, like an album releasing in like 2 days. It's like, oh yeah, guys, by the way.
No, we've been posting about it. Our singer does all the promotion and shit, and he's been doing that like a champ.
Oh, so I'm just a shithead that's not very attentive.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Basically, fuck you.
Carly. Ooh.
Other than that, like today, I'm taking a sign language class, and it sucks, and I'm only doing it because I don't want to learn like Spanish or French or some shit because I dropped the language in middle school. The project that we had to do in class today, we had to do a sign language to a song that the teacher picked for us. So I had to do a sign language in front of the whole entire class before we chased by Carrie Underwood.
That's very Napoleon Dynamite of you.
And like and it's filmed too. Like there's going to be video of it that I'm going to be getting on a flash drive.
There you go, old school Napoleon Dynamite. It's actually cool. It's on a side note. There's actually a really awesome music video by one of my favorite artists, Sia, and it's kind of like an interpretive dance mixed in with sign language. It's a cool song. It's nowhere near like any of the genres that we all listen to. So if you're feeling really indie one day, just go ahead and listen to it and watch the video. It's sick. All right, Carly, suppy with your week. Tell me about it.
Well, you know, it's been pretty cray.
Cray?
Mostly just work and trying to bust out everything for school because I am going to be traveling to Charlotte from Sunday to Tuesday to see the Wonder Years.
Oh, sick! Nice. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's my very first Wonder Years concert, so I'm very, very excited to see how it all goes and how it all pans out. And it's my second time seeing Motion City soundtrack, and they're probably in my top 10 favorite
Nice.
artists too. So I'm pretty excited about that. They're probably in my top 5, definitely in my top 10. So I'm really excited.
Now, are you gonna like break your pop punk virginity and like crowd surf or like hit and shit?
I don't know. It depends how raucous it is. Depends how cray it gets
Please
up in
crowd
there.
surf. Please crowd surf.
All up at Amos South End. Well, I don't know, and it even looks like kind of a shady bar. So I'm really not sure that I'm not gonna walk in there and see like a bunch of people that really want to rob me afterwards. So
Oh,
I'm
you're going to a pop punk show. There's no way on God's green earth that you're going to see anybody that wants to rob anybody. I love pop punk, but I know my demographic. Goddammit. Oh Christ.
I'm like, yeah, but still, I'm gonna be walking around. I don't know, man. I haven't been in a city in a while. You know, I live in the middle of nowhere now. I live in the boondocks. I miss Philadelphia. Miss Atlantic City. So I'm going back to the city.
Everyone's scared of the urban youth. It's okay. You'll jump right back into it sooner or later. Melissa.
Hey, my life has been kind of a hot mess lately.
Why do you always just jump into? I'm gonna take this away from you. You have to. There's a formality that goes on with this. Jesus Christ.
Melissa. That like, I think that I'm supposed to. Oh my gosh, I'm done. Okay.
I'm Melissa and I like boys.
I thought it was an appropriate shirt to wear. It's my Boys of Fall shirt.
No. That is true. That is very true.
I like that shirt.
Yeah.
So support.
But thank you. Do I have permission to talk now, Ollie?
You have permission to talk. Yes,
Okay.
you do.
So, I wasn't on last week, but within the past 2 weeks, I found out that me and one of my sorority sisters got approved for a house, or an apartment, so I will be moving at the beginning of December. Kind of freaking out about that. So that's very hectic, on top of working 40 hours a week and working at a venue. But I'm so excited because on Saturday I just found out today that I get to be a runner for the Silverstein Census Fail show, and I am so stoked. I'm like,
that sounds something to be stoked about. Congrats.
I'm like almost shitting bricks. Oh my gosh, I'm just so happy. Like,
now, for those that don't know exactly what a runner is, can you describe the position?
it's basically whatever the band needs. Just be like, oh hey, like basically what happens is you get a sheet ahead of time of approved. It's like a list of approved things that the band's like, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. And it's my job to make sure that it's all there for them, either early or on time, or during like the appropriate time. Like if somebody wants pizza, like right after they get off of the show, like gotta get pizza. Obviously, you're not gonna get pizza first. So
because that'd be so fucking silly, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's my first time to actually be a runner at a venue. I did a similar thing with my internship in New York the last year. So this is going to be a different environment, so I'm pretty stoked about it, especially because I have been looking forward to this show for ever since I started working there. And I'm like, because I'm technically security, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going to work security, right? I'm going to work security at the show. And then like, oh, hey, no, you're going to be a runner. I'm like, okay, so.
Okay, sure.
I'm okay with that, just as long as I can cry to Can't Be Saved. That's all I care.
Same, absolute same. That's very cool. I am excited for you, love. That sounds like a fun thing.
I'm excited. So, yeah.
All right, so guest of, well, not really guest of, well, you could be guest person. Hey, Michael. Hey.
Hey.
Suppy, how was your past, however long you want to go back, since right now you're a stranger to us, so you can go back as far as you want and tell us how you've been.
I've been really busy. I got the band going, and we have a headliner coming up that we haven't announced yet, but it's been a pain in the ass getting that together. But it's going to be a lot of fun when it's released. I own a studio, a recording studio, and I'm booked for the next 3 months straight, so we're here pretty much every night. So I work at my day job from 9 to 5:30, and then I come here from pretty much 6 to 12 every day. So my life is pretty hectic, and then we got the band shit, and then just it never ends.
It's just a never-ending process.
Yeah.
Now, where do you work when you're not doing music-related stuff?
I'm actually a funeral director.
Oh, right.
Not,
We went there. Okay.
like, I really didn't know how it would be the appropriate way to be like, cool, or like, I don't.
That is the most interesting job
Most people's responses are, so you see dead people?
Just like all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there is like a certain kind of comfort that you bring to people because you make sure that the deceased are like looking nice for their funeral.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to just making them look nice, but yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, because I'm. Literally, I feel like I know nothing about. So just correct me with anything that I say.
What do you do necessarily as a funeral director? Since you said it goes into, there's a lot more that goes into it than making people look nice. I'm trying to think. I mean, do you, I guess, plan the whole thing or put the whole funeral together?
I mean, if you guys want the straightforward answer, pretty much my normal day is I arrive at the funeral home, I pick up whoever needs to get picked up, I embalm, I meet with families, I run funerals, I do paperwork, I pretty much do anything they need me to do.
Nice.
My life, and then I come to a studio and record bands until the wee hours of the morning, and then I get barely any sleep, and I wake up and I do it again.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
It's my life.
And I love how like the music podcast did not even really talk about music at all. The first thing we talked about is be like, oh, so you run a studio? Cool. How's the funeral home? we're solid guys.
It's awesome that you got that hooked up for. You said you got it booked up for 3 months.
Yeah, my studio. Yeah, I'm booked until the end of January right now.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It freaks me out because my band is to the point now where we're starting to kind of tour full time, or at least like getting on a lot of tours. So my job and my touring schedule aren't really working out. So I'm kind of walking away from the funeral business for the next 6 months, and I'm strictly going to be focusing on the band and my studio. So it's always a risk because the studio is going to be my main source of income, and in a normal job, you expect your paychecks at the end of every 2 weeks, and in the studio, it's just kind of who feels like recording that month. So, but being booked for the next 3 months is a good feeling, and I guess it means I'm doing something right. So.
Exactly, and I believe, and I'm don't know your guys' MO with the band, but to kind of wanting to walk away from a normal ho hum job to pursue the band, I'm assuming that's a pretty good sign of things.
Yeah, it is. It's
obviously.
I think anybody who's ever tried to put their all into it and try to make it kind of knows that at some point it's time to put everything down on the line and just do it, and that's kind of my moment. So I feel like we've made enough progress and we're making a big enough jump now that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it my all. Like it's kind of got to be now.
All right, and that's a show, everybody. Oh, it's been such a quick and easy show. We got some great inspirational bits. Now, we'll get more into Michael's viewpoints on bands and how the band's doing and how Music Detroit, yes. But for right now, we got other shit to talk about. So let's go through some random what happened throughout the rest of the music world news. It's been brought to my attention because I've just been slacking on music news that the Wonder Years and Motion City's soundtrack put out a split of each other's music by taking the instrumentals from one band and putting their own lyrics onto one. How this slipped past me, I have no fucking idea. But I mean, that's pretty sick. James, would you like to talk about what actual tracks were used and shit?
Yeah. Let me pull up the actual tracks that were used. But basically, the actual vinyl was exclusive to those who bought the packages for the Wonder Years current tour of Motion City. And the Motion City soundtrack for Justin Pierre, basically wrote new lyrics and melodies and stuff to a song for Patsy Cline, and then Soupy Campbell did It's a Pleasure to Meet You. And yeah, both of those were just released online within the past few days. But the vinyl is before. And it's a very cool idea that isn't done very often, but these are what Splits kind of used to be, like with artists covering each other's songs and stuff, but this kind of takes it to a whole new level because they're creating new songs.
Yeah. Because I remember when there used to be, I want to say it was a Record Store Day exclusive when Title Fight and Touche Amore had put out something very similar to that. I forget what songs they had each covered, but they covered each other's songs, and it was just like, oh, fuck. I never heard them because I don't collect vinyl because I'm guessing not that cool yet. But it was a very, exactly, because I suck. But, like, I think artists should do this more often. I mean, like, if you guys had your choice of artists that could just, like you know, flip-flop songs like that, who would you pick?
Oh.
Yeah, there we go, guys. we got a thinking question going on.
Can they be broken up? Like, is it like if they reunite?
Okay, I'm not accepting any of My Chemical Romance into use. I'm sorry. No, it's just, no. Sorry, Carly. I knew exactly where you're going. Scene is dead. Let it die.
No.
Okay, I have a few.
Melissa got it? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to go back a couple, 10 years. But I think that Silverstein and Seosin would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It could happen. Seosin is back together.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That is true.
I am so fucking stoked about Seosin being back together.
I did not know they're back together. That makes me so happy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they played Skate and Surf last year. They are in the studio. Well, they were in the studio over the summer, and they have a new album coming out early 2016 with Anthony Green.
Got it. And then if Atreyu and Beartooth just want to have a bromance for the rest of my life, I'm completely okay with that.
Everyone's just okay with that.
What's your guys' opinion between Cove and Anthony, though?
I honestly like Cove a little better as far as
I like Cove. I like Cove better. I've never been a huge Anthony.
Bury Your Head is like one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
See, and it's really difficult for me because I really love you know, I probably wouldn't pick Anthony Green either, honestly, to be honest. Though I do love I've Been Dying to Reach You and the stuff that he did on his own. Yeah, no.
I get shit from my friends about not being a Circa fan, but you know what? I'm not a huge Anthony Green fan, and I love Cove, so.
It took me a while to get into Anthony Green's voice. It was because Circa is like the instrumentals are there, but then like you'll get the very intense, very unique voice of Anthony Green, and if you're not ready for it and really not accustomed to it, it's kind of like, all right.
It's definitely a more mainstream voice, and I can see why people resonate with him there. I think Anthony's better suited in Circa, but Cove will forever be better as well.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like, I don't know, it's not that I don't like Anthony Green, it's that it came down in my head, honestly. Voices is my favorite, one of their songs, and I can't picture Anthony singing Voices, so that kind of was my little mini deal breaker.
Voices.
Yeah, I have a partial love to that record, so. My little emo heart.
Little emo heart.
Oh, I've got an interesting one. That would be an interesting combo. Sleater Kinney and Paramore. What was the first one? That would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, Carly, who was the first one you said?
Sleater Kinney.
Boy, I'm ignorant. I've
one of the members is in Portlandia, I think.
Yeah, Carrie Brownstein's on Portlandia, but before that, they basically are the pioneers of like Riot Girl. And if you look up "Entertain" by Sleater Kinney, it's one of the best songs of the last 20 years. It's top notch. It's excellent, and that would be some crazy shit.
You know, we're gonna have to get our playlist back together. Just have like people showcase like who they're listening to and what all the hubbub's about certain people and that they should listen to, and that's the thing we should do. Besides passing thought that just tipped through my head. Going through my memory bank of bands, I'm like entered over it in Iron and Wine.
Ooh.
Like I think that would be like intensely like lyrically and instrumentally just like breaking, but like done very precariously, just to the point at which you wouldn't want to do anything to like crying in bed all day, but just enough to like sob on the way to work.
Well, I've got one for crying in bed all day that I just thought about. Can you imagine the combo boxing and City and Color?
Oh,
that
would be interesting.
All right.
That would be.
Who was the first one? Foxy?
Yeah.
Like Foxy Shazam?
No, not Foxy. Foxy Shazam and City and Color would be absolutely fantastic.
Foxy Shazam. Oh man, that's taking it back.
Oh dear God.
Cool. Dude, wow, that's.
Speaking of which, his feature on Macklemore's new song is pretty dope.
Did you see that? Yeah, and you know what? I wasn't that into it at first, but then I saw him at the VMAs, and it was one of those things where you can't not be into it. The guy is like doing jump splits in gold lame pants.
Speaking of artists that really showcase their stage presence, I didn't know who 21 Pilots were up until I saw them do VMAs a few years ago and did like a stadium arena coming down version of Car Radio. And it was like so hyped, and like everybody inside of that venue that they had this show at just like lost their fucking minds. And I was like, wow, this is really good. I mean, like I like 21 Pilots, they're okay, but like that performance that they put on just like broke it the fuck down. And I think that was really interesting.
Oh, they have a phenomenal stage performance for sure. I heard that they turned down the VMAs this year.
No, they played it this year. They turned.
Oh, they did.
I think I was gonna say I remember them playing it. I'm not big on 21 Pilots either, but I will say, Ollie, in that vein of seeing a live performance and just being wowed by the band, and it kind of, Young the Giant, I had no idea who they were, and they did the VMAs a few years ago when My Body first came out. Whew, that was good. That was the one that got me hooked.
Yeah.
To get back to the topic a little bit, for me, the two artists I would love to see try to write each other's songs would be Emma Rosa and I the Mighty. I think they both have similar styles, but they could also use different stuff.
I love I the Mighty, but I think the vocalist is shit. Probably unpopular opinion, but I just don't like the vocalist.
Nah, you're good.
Hey man, you're in the safe zone here. You just blurt out whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I think he's one of my personal favorite vocalists in the game, but I can see why a few people might not like it.
I just I love their album that came out. Like, I'm a huge obviously I record, so I'm like I follow producers pretty closely, but I'm a huge Chris Crummett fan.
Yeah.
So their whole album just sounds absolutely amazing. I can't get into the vocalist.
Yeah. I will say though, Chris Crummett is an amazing producer. I love he really launched Issues in his career.
Yeah, he's so good. I will go on record saying that if our band can do it, we will be recording our album with him. Like, if we were able to do it, we would do it in a heartbeat.
Definitely.
Very cool.
That would be sick as hell. He's such a great producer, honestly. Shout out to producers.
Shout out to people that make it sound good, yo. Speaking of which, we need to get some shit together. Anyway, so
do we though really?
What?
I said, do we really need to get our shit together though?
Nope, not at all. We'll just keep doing this, and it'll all be okay, Melissa. This is great. This is fine. So, I have down here. We can either talk about 10-year tours and basically just talk about our love for the Used for the next 15 minutes.
Yes.
We could talk about Elliott for the next 10 minutes, or we can talk about what we're all listening to recently for the next like 10 minutes. So Michael, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about black people, old people,
Let's
or
talk about what we're all. I gotta talk about black people. Let's talk. Let's talk about what we're all listening to.
All right, so that's pretty chill. So let's kick off the discussion with you. What's been on your active playlist for the past few, let's say, weeks?
Okay. Lately, I've been listening to Justin Bieber's album.
Oddly enough, that was going to be a subject too. Unpopular opinion again. I'm a huge fan of the Biebs, and I think his voice is incredible, and I've listened to it a lot because like his stuff is in my range, and I like to practice my vocal runs to his stuff because I think what he does is not like too far out of the stuff that I would do. I'm not gonna go listen to like like Boyz II Men or anything, but I like Justin Bieber's vocal. But other than that, I've been listening to a lot of Thy Art Is Murder. I know that's two totally separate things, but a lot of the Biebs, a lot of Thy Art Is Murder, a lot of Augustana, and I've been listening to Selfish Promotion. I've been listening to a lot of my band's new EP that we're going to be releasing. True. Now, just a quick question on Bieber. When did you begin to become a Justin Bieber fan? Because one of the things we're going to discuss was just how shit Justin's been shat on for the past, forever. And then he put out a new album, and, everyone's like, ooh, fuck. He could put out good music? We can kind of put him on
as soon as I heard Die in Your Arms off the Believe album, I love that song. And he had good songs on that, but it wasn't like it was like I listened to the whole album and I was like, oh, this is great. But I loved a bunch of songs. And then when Journals came out, I was really stoked on Journals. And then this new album came out, and I don't know, I think it's really good. I just like the mix of his stuff. I mean, there's always those cheesy ass songs that he writes because he has to, but there's some like golden songs kind of hidden in there. So
yeah, it was a pretty surprising thing because I guess I can speak on the general, I don't know, people that that aren't really into his music, that aren't into the pop scene. They're just like, Justin Bieber. But it really took an upswing when he started putting out his new singles and started working with bigger producers. Well, not bigger producers, but more popular producers like did Diplo and did a song with I think it was 2 Chainz or Big Sean.
He did a song with
Big
Sean. Yeah.
Big Sean.
Yeah, he's been working with Diplo and Skrillex, and I usually just laugh at people that are like, oh, Justin Bieber's a douche. I'm like, why? Because he's done shitty things. I was like, okay, name 2 shitty things he's done. Most people don't know. Most people just like to jump on the bandwagon of they hate Justin Bieber because they think he's a douche. But it's like, yeah, people do shitty things. It doesn't change the fact that the dude's an amazing singer.
Yeah.
So
you still gotta recognize talent.
Yeah, I don't ever really care what people do. If that's how they want to be, then that's how they want to be. But if their music's good, I'm gonna listen to their music. So. True.
All right, Melissa, what's on your playlist, girl?
So a couple weeks ago, I worked a show, a small indie show, and there was this band there that they are from Europe, but it's just 2 people. But the singer's name is Kieran McMullen, and I got his latest album, and he's legit. It's acoustic-y, but it's not full-blown acoustic. It's very easily listening, and I'm usually not into that. I like a lot of harder stuff. If you couldn't tell by the way I was talking about Silverstein and Beartooth and they used earlier, but it's really relaxing, and especially on a drive to work when I'm up at 7 in the morning. It's nice and it's chill, and the music is still relatable. I listen to the lyrics, and he's 26. So that's still in our age range where I can hardcore relate to this stuff, and it took me by surprise a little bit about how much I related to this artist, but it was really good. I liked it. I've been getting into Gwen Stefani a lot. Been listening to her and some No Doubt. I don't know. I'm going back into just a Gwen Stefani phase. And then I'm psyching up for the Silverstein Senses Fail show. So I've been listening to a lot of Silverstein and Senses Fail. But that's my main playlist right now.
Yeah. Now it's pretty funny because I don't think Gwen Stefani's put anything out for the past few, I want to say years, unless I slept on something that she released. Because I remember the last thing she did was A Great Escape. Is that right?
No, she actually did that No Doubt album, didn't she?
Yeah, she did a No Doubt album. But I am a huge fan of Love Angel Music Baby. So I've been listening to that a lot.
I almost forgot that existed for a quick second. The moment that you said that, I instantly heard it like in that like melody.
Yeah, I know. Same here. But no, when a couple of weeks back when I was trying to get in, when I rediscovered No Doubt for like the upteenth time, I realized how much girl power was in her lyrics and how just empowering her lyrics were in general. And I'm like, yeah, I can get behind this. So I think that was probably the main reason that really sparked me listening to her and No Doubt again. So
sick. All right, Carl's.
Yes. You know, it's been a lot of. I'm trying to think of some people who have really stood out because I mostly listen to Alt Nation because that's when I get to listen to a lot of my music is when I'm on the way to class and my mother-in-law is satellite radio. So it's been a lot of Alt Nation. I'm really starting to get into Catfish and the Bottlemen. They have a really good song out now called Cocoon. Very much into Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats and SOB. That's an awesome one. Starting to get into Vinyl Theater, too, which is really... I slept on Vinyl Theater. I'm pretty mad at myself for that one. I really like it.
These are all artists that have been like premiered within the past like few years, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But hey, man, if we're taking it back, I had to, and actually this is what I've been listening to for the past couple days. Not taking it back, but I'm getting there. Upgrade Hip Hop is an underground artist who was just signed to Equal Vision partially by Josh from Coheed and Cambria. And he just put out his album on Friday, and it is freaking good, dude. It is good. It's really good. It's interesting because a lot of hip hop is all like, yeah, man, I'm hard and bitches and you know what I mean? And you know, all that stuff. But he wrote an entire album about his anxiety and depression and his lifelong struggle with that and all the shit that's led him to where he is now. And it's fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. It's a good album. Lyrically, it's really good. It's pretty great. So I've been listening to that, and then that got me back into like all the old Eminem, Lose Yourself, and all the classic Eminem, and Nas too. A lot of Nas.
Nas is like one of those like really old school ones that like was really lyrically driven, and it's really cool to see art. And Eminem was pretty lyrically driven, but like one's a philosopher and one's in like 7th grade. So like it's pretty interesting to see the contrast between individuals who are able to write lyrics, but how they execute. So it's cool. That's a cool contrast.
Too, because Eminem is so much more of a technical, like I'm just gonna show you how I flow, and I want you to see how good I am because I'm going to be the best. He's very much like that, and Nas is very much, he's more laid back, and he has more introspective kind of lyrics that make you think, and he's not just trying to show off his skills, and that's what I like about him. Except for Ether, where he combined both of them and totally took down. That's the only time I'll say anybody ever took down Jay-Z, man. Ether is, if you've slept on Ether by Nas, which is old by this point. That's a takedown.
I'm pretty sure anytime you bring up Nas now, it's just going to be old. It's like you'd be like, oh, do you remember that new Wu-Tang song? It's like, what, when it came out in like 2004? Like.
Two. One more, and then we can move on. But Did you hear that Fresh Prince, not Will Smith, Fresh Prince,
Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff are going to be.
Are going on tour. I know it's a week old or so at this point, but I just can't believe it, and I just had to get that out because I've been digging back into all my old Will Smith now too, and that's pretty great. It's got me with a smile on my face.
James, I'm revoking your internet. It's going to be interesting because I want to see who's going to end up coming out to these shows because it's going to be like the old heads and like us, but like we're only going to be going for like certain songs because like as much as we want to hear Miami, Switch is also going to come up and it's going to be really weird. So,
but you know what? I'm going to see if they actually do You Stole My Blinker Bitch or not. So that's kind of my reasoning for going.
Well, we will go out of the show and have to see. Miss Yellow Boss.
So I've been listening to a lot of stuff lately. I've been listening to my homies and a few cool local bands lately. I've been listening to the new Shorter EP that's going to be coming out next month. I've been listening to my dudes in Cat Home. I've been listening to my friends in Animal a lot lately. I've been listening to my friends in West Shot Kid. As far as other stuff that's like not local, I've been listening to really cool bands called Barriers. I've been they're like really fucking heavy. They were the Naked Moshing Band, if anyone remembers that.
Oh, I remember that, and how I actively wanted to punch that kid in the face.
Yeah. The what?
About a few months ago, there was a video of a kid moshing naked to a hardcore set, and it was probably the world's most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Why?
I don't know. Hardcore music makes you violent. Same with marijuana.
I guess so.
James, you can go on.
If I'm mumbled, I'm sorry. My computer's being really good right now.
I think you're just gonna have to scream for like the next few, like yeah.
All right, so Burials. I've been listening to a lot of Penamento. I've been listening to Wage War, who are a cool new band on Kratos Records.
Yep, they're cool.
I've been listening to a lot of Parental Houses, finally enough. I've been listening to some Reflections. I've been listening to a really cool hardcore band called The Beautiful Ones lately. And I've been listening to a lot of 2000s that I grew up on. Petey Pablo, Chingy, Ludacris, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Chingy! Woo! Wow.
Making Carlos Shava.
That's taking it back.
Little Kim, that's another rapper I've been listening to lately.
Wait, isn't there a story involving certain rap artists that happened to you today?
Wait, what?
Wasn't there a certain rap story that happened to you today?
Oh, fuck you. Alright, am I really going to have to talk about this? Oh, wow, alright.
Today and James Boss.
Alright, so I'm on the music industry club elected board at my school, and when you're on the elected board floors in the music industry club office, and it's like a small office, and you get your own computer, and you can listen to whatever you want to. And I was blasting a rapper called Petey Pablo, who had a song called Freak and Leak about 10 years ago. And I was blasting it kind of loud, and the chorus for the song goes, how do you like that, daddy? And a tour guide for the college with a bunch of kids and like parents walked by when that part was blasting from the office.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Same.
And
I mean, like, if that's not college, then like I don't know what is. Just like a bunch of like parents going along with their little kids, and then like this is why we don't trust our higher education. They expose them to open-mindedness and that rap music, and like James just like sitting working in his office just like Shaniqua, Wanda, and like those are real lyrics. I'm not making that shit up. So.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
yeah. The funny thing is that I can see that happening at my Christian college, just blasting from our radio station, and just a bunch of prospective students. And
Well, see, what I love about that is it's like there's a lot of like regression that happens with like it's like if you were to take an Amish boy and just send him off into the world like through the streets of New York City and like leave him alone for a week, he'll be a totally different person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like he'll be exposed to like he'll go back to the village. They live in villages, right? I think they live in villages, towns, little Amish villages.
Kind of like it's like communities. It's like
Communities.
It's weird.
They'll walk through with like an Ed Hardy shirt and like a 40 and be like, "Nigga," and they'll be like, "What happened to Jed?" I'm pretty sure that's what ends up happening with little kids that go from normal colleges, like Christian colleges, and they're just like, college. Anyway, so
So me.
It's-
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So I can't say I've been listening to anything too new. I've been listening to some of the new state champs that came out. That's pretty solid. Jin War came out with a new EP that's going to be premiering tomorrow, Piece of Moon. Well, it's actually available now. We'll have a review on the site tomorrow, which is pretty sick. Brendan Rosenberg and the boys from South Jersey putting out some consistently beautiful shit. Modern Baseball came out with the EP about maybe like a month ago, and I finally started listening to it now, and it's pretty dope. Pretty dope. There's a lot of old influences you can hear from like old 80s kind of like pop rock that they've definitely have incorporated into their songs, which is really cool. So yeah, it's tight. But yeah, so that's what I've been listening to. Lunch and more other shit like Sia, but it's really obscure and not pop punk, so whatever. It's not even rap.
Whatever. It's good.
It's good, but like if I start dropping artists, they're also gonna be like, who is this like indie trash? Which
Who cares? Explain it.
I had the nuts to pull up Catfish and the Bottlemen. Like, who knows who they are?
Oh no, true. Well, you know, we'll be putting up some showcase playlists next week. We're gonna transition into an interview, but it just seems like Michael just said fuck all y'all and left. Oh dear God. Well, we'll wait
I'm
for
plugging my laptop.
Oh, you're playing it.
Okay. Well,
He's there.
I'll take this opportunity. We're going to be jumping into the interview very shortly, but before we jump into that, I'll keep saying this until we get a sponsor. Do you want people to look at your stuff? Do you have a product or anything that wants to be showcased in front of about an average of 100 people a week? Well, hey, we're Babetalk, and we have now sponsorship packages available to people and things and stuff. So, hey, come send me an email at ollie@babetalk.tv, and we can cut you a side deal. You know, just buy me a pack of Newports and a 40, and we'll probably showcase your shit for about a week. We also take real currency as well, so that would be really preferred. But in a pinch, I'll take beer over anything. Email me, ollie@babetalk.tv, to look into sponsorship shit. So, enough with that bullshit. Boys of Fall. Michael, Detroit, Michigan.
So,
What we're going to do is we're going to go through the people that I see here, which is going to be Carly, then James, then Melissa, then myself, and we'll be asking you questions. We'll do this until the cows come home, or go home. It's something with homes. Hands with homes. So, before we jump into it, if you can just give your the name of the band, what's your position in the band, and just kind of like a quick overview as to what you guys are about.
all right, I'm Patrick, and I sing for Fall Out Boy. And no, I'm Mike. Wait, what was the question? I'm supposed to introduce myself in the band and what I was so pumped to say Fall Out Boy that I forgot what you said.
Well, you do vocals for the band, correct?
Yes.
Rumor has it. Okay, and just like an overview as to what the band's about.
We are a pissed off pop punk band from Detroit, Michigan. And pretty much it. I can't like associate ourselves with pop punk, and I can't associate ourselves with like metalcore, so I just have to say we're a pissed off pop punk band, because that's pretty much, people can expect that they're gonna hear pop punk and then hear heavy stuff. So it's just a word I pick.
Legit.
That is legit.
Yep. Could you tell us, because I know you just recently signed to a management label, so could you elaborate on as well what's going on for Boys of Fall as of right now?
Yep. So we were on Arbor Agency for a while, and we signed over to Ricochet Management, who manages Memphis Mayfire and Suicide Silence, and us, and that's a pretty dream come true. And at the moment, we are shopping out, we are touring, and we are just kind of working on some stuff until our EP is released. We're sitting on a 7-song EP right now, and we've released 2 tracks off of it. Pass Me By and My Promise to Maryland, and I don't know when it's going to come out. I hate that it's not out yet. It kills me. I think about just dropping a Dropbox links every day, like just setting one on the page so people can listen to it, but we can't. So it's good, and I just want to release it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Nice.
Carlos?
So, you're not done with the EP yet.
No, we're done with the EP. We're done with the EP, and we're like over halfway done with our full length.
Nice. Well, since you've still got a lot of your full length left, and you do run a studio where bands book time, are there any like local bands in Detroit that you guys are thinking about collaborating with or would want to collaborate with on your album?
No, not necessarily collaborate. Like I've done a couple guest vocals for some bands like in Detroit, and there's like I've toured the country, and it's ridiculous like how much talent is in Detroit. Like, and it's not shitting on any other state that I go to by any means, but I've seen a lot of the talent that's in other states, and then you come to Detroit, and it's a totally different thing because like literally like every band in Detroit is really good, and it's just it's a bigger, I think it's a bigger scene, and but no, not necessarily anybody that we're looking to collab with, but I definitely enjoy a lot of bands in Detroit, and I have the privilege of getting to record a lot of bands in Detroit, so
Very cool.
So, as you mentioned, you guys are kind of sitting on an EP right now. What was the writing and recording process like for that?
So we at first we had like a full length, and then we signed with management with the Arbor Agency first, and we kind of went through some member changes at that time to the lineup that we have now, and after we all started playing together and we all listened and we took like a really honest look at everything, we cut pretty much half the album because we just didn't think the songs were good enough, and we rewrote stuff, and we rewrote some more stuff, and then we demoed everything at my studio, and then we went down and did the Amnesia cover with Johnny Frank in Columbus, and it was just an experience just to kind of work with a different producer, just kind of see how that went, and we loved working with Johnny so much that we decided to do the EP with him.
You recorded with Johnny Frank of Attack Fame?
Yeah, yep, we recorded with Johnny Frank, and it was we did it kind of over the span of a bunch of months, just because getting down there and getting in was tough and hectic, especially when everybody had school and work, and he was booked up. But finished it. Everything was fully mixed and mastered, and now we're just sitting on it. But I love Johnny Frank, and it was an absolute blast recording with him.
Nice.
All right.
So what about some? Oh, hi.
What?
No, jump on.
Oh, okay. Me being from Michigan as well, and I obviously see my view of the music scene. Amazing music scene. I agree with you. There's a lot of talent there. But as an artist in the music scene in Michigan, could you elaborate more on your perspective on that, and what it would be your advice to advance this music scene, make it better?
I don't know. It's a tough question, only because I'm biased and I'm like a part of it. I think the one thing that I'm pretty sure you can agree with this. Detroit is a very heavy dominant scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot of heavy bands,
Yeah.
and that's something that we kind of decided, like, obviously, if you want to push forward in the Detroit scene, you have to have that heavy vibe because it's the biggest shows in Detroit. I mean, the heavy shows. So
Yep.
we definitely started out a lot heavier than we are now, but we just kind of tried to break away and go like a lot more pop punk, and just because we enjoy that sound and it was different. And I feel like there's a couple bands like that are coming into the scene that are just like, the only way that we're gonna get in and we're gonna do this is if we're just like the heaviest fucking band possible. And I think that Detroit needs to focus more on just like being themselves. Just come in and do the type of music that you want to do. Because like the one thing I've learned about being in the Detroit scene is as much as people like heavy music and they love heavy music, like there's so many bands that come in that do their own thing that people love. Like there's a band called Narco Debut,
Yep.
and they are totally different than every other heavy band. Like the singer reminds me of Coheed. They like have a lot of influences from like Thursday and Early November, and people fucking love them. I mean, they just came in and they play all these heavy shows and people love them. So I think people just need to focus on like doing the music that they love. Like we're a lot different style than anybody that's playing around here. And, we've kind of, I think, like progressed slowly, and there's a lot of bands that have been around here for a long time that are just slowly changing their style and progressing. So the one thing I would say to progress the scene is just bands just need to come in not trying to fit a certain sound, but just be themselves and be good at what they do. Because there's a lot of kids in the scene that I don't think take a realistic look at themselves, and they just want to join bands before they can even like play a song all the way through solid on guitar. So you just need to be realistic, and you need to start a band when I think you can like genuinely just like play and then push forward. But be yourself. Don't try and mold yourself to a certain sound.
Yeah, that's a very, very good answer. I never thought of it that way before, but at the same time, I'm on the management aspect and not so much the performance aspect. But I like it a lot.
Put on a good live show. Don't be boring. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's very true. I mean, and so you're going into being yourself within the music scene, and if you can just like really break that down even further as to like, why did you join the music scene? Was it something that stemmed from way before? Did you go to a show and like, oh shit, I want to hold a mic? What was your backstory?
Okay, so I've went through like a bunch of different phases. So when I was in high school, I used to draw like all the time. I illustrated, and I wanted more than anything to be a comic book artist. That was my goal. That was what I wanted to do. And through kind of getting like pushed one way by my parents, like I ended up going to a liberal arts college and getting my I have a bachelor in business right now and a minor in illustration. And when I was in college, like I kind of lost like my love for drawing a little bit, and I joined a fraternity, and there was a bunch of kids in my fraternity that just played music. And I in high school I kind of learned to sing and scream only because I thought it was cool. Like not that I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this and be cool, but just because I wanted to be good at something like other than drawing. I wanted to be like a singer. Like I just thought it was cool. Like I wanted to sing along to songs, and I just did that a lot. But I never had any aspirations of joining a band or writing music, and I used to put up covers on YouTube, and a couple of them were A Day to Remember covers, and this kid that was from Toledo, Ohio hit me up, and he's like, hey, join my band. So when I joined that band, I realized like how much I didn't have a fucking clue about how a band ran, and I didn't I didn't know how to write songs, and I just didn't like really know how to structure anything, and that was a whole learning experience. And then when I stopped doing that, I started my studio, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on the studio. I have really no interest in doing a band. And the drummer of that old band wanted me to get into this band, and he just over time I just kind of fell in love with learning how to write melodies and like learning how to structure songs and actually write stuff, and just kind of went from there. So like when I started with this, I had honestly no intention of ever making like my future as like a vocalist, but it's just kind of how it went. I mean, I don't know if that answered your question. I felt like I just kind of rambled right there.
No, it kind of described yourself as to like how you just kind of found yourself into it, especially like when you said you were doing your covers.
Yeah. I started doing a Day to Remember covers, to be honest, and that was just because it was singing and screaming, and that's what I wanted to do. And um, when I joined the band, or when I started, when Boys of Fall kind of got started, because I didn't start it, it was the original drummer and myself, and just kind of over time, like when we first started, I remember we were going to be like, we had a synth player, so they wanted to be like, let's do like Attack Attack, Asking Alexandria stuff.
Yeah.
And then we got a guitarist in who was really into like the Attila riffs, so they're like, let's have like Attila riffs with synth, and I was like, this sucks, I don't want to do that at all. And just kind of over time, it just molded into kind of what it did, and with the people that are in now, we just kind of ended up being a pop punk / heavy band, and just kind of is what it is. But I think I stuck with it so long and wanted to keep doing it because it was so fun to learn to write songs and to like write melodies that would get stuck in your head. So that's pretty much why I did what I did.
Yeah, yeah. I've been gone for a second. Is it my turn?
If you want it to be, James, if you want it to be your turn, go right ahead.
My RA is up to you for a bunch of stuff. But yeah, Michael, that's my question. So, what are some milestones that you hope to achieve with this band?
Shout it, James.
I can't really hear you.
What are some milestones you hope to achieve with this band?
So my band, we never set like certain things. We just kind of set kind of like goals for like the year, and we've actually lived like a lot of milestones. So like there's this place called the Crowfoot in Detroit, and the first time I ever went to a show there, I was like, my band's going to play that stage one day, and like we ended up getting to play it. Now we've played it like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, my band's gonna play Warped Tour one year, and then we got to play Warped Tour, and then my band's going to like buy a van. Like that was a milestone. We bought a van, and we're finally like going on tour, and that was a big milestone. So I mean, my band has definitely hit like a lot of the accomplishments that I've hoped to have hit. I mean, we've already got to tour internationally, like we went to Mexico, so we've done really, really cool things with the band, and I'm really thankful for that. But I mean, milestones from here on out is just, like my next milestone is hopefully to get signed, like get a record deal, and then the milestone after that would be, hopefully tour like Europe eventually. So the milestones my goals kind of never stop. It's just we just kind of take it year by year and evaluate where we're at as a band, and kind of make them that way.
I like that.
Bringing it back to like the songwriting and the milestones kind of blended together. You've come so far, now you've got the LP coming out. Are there any songs on it that you're particularly proud of?
Yeah, like it's gonna be an EP coming out, and then after that we're gonna do the LP. So we're like halfway through the LP right now, but the EP is gonna be 7 songs, and I was really proud of My Promise to Marilyn, and we decided to release that first because we felt like it was the most different than any of the stuff that we had released before, and people responded really, really well to it. So I'm really proud of that song, and there's a song called "It's Always Sunny in Arkadelphia," and I'm really proud of that song. I think like melody and vocally wise, it's one of my strongest I've ever written, and there's a song called Enigma, and that's a very heavy, more technical one, and there's just a lot of stuff I'm really proud of, and it kills me inside that we can't release it. We've been sitting on it for like 3 years now. So, yeah.
Sure. Well, going off of that, you said, so the EP, it's been, versus the LP, how big of a gap between the writing process was that?
So our first EP was The Call Out, and we released it in 2012. And we've been writing ever since that, and we've been done with the EP now for like 6 months, like fully recorded, mixed, and mastered, but we've been done writing the songs for like 2 years.
Okay, got it.
And It's just like every time we go to release it, or like we set up like something like we're gonna release it, it gets pushed back. Like my band is very adamant on, like, it's not a secret. Like, my band is very adamant on, we want to release it on a label. That's our ultimate goal. We genuinely think it's good enough, and we genuinely are proud enough that we know it'll be good enough to release on a label, and we're just trying to get it to that point. So.
Makes sense. Is there, or the writing process and the composition of how you put everything together in your EP versus your writing style now? How has that evolved over time, and how has your sound changed? It's probably not that big of a difference, but the collaboration has to be somewhat different.
Yeah, so like when we wrote the first EP, it was me and a completely different guitar player, like he's not in the band. So our writing process has always kind of been, it's me and somebody else. Like I can't play guitar and I can't play drums, but I hear it in my head, so I can mouth it out to you the best that I can, and for the most part my guitar players can figure out what I'm trying to say and like hear at least what I'm trying to do. But it's usually me and somebody else, and that's kind of how we always have like composed the songs. But it's mostly me and my other singer guitar player Jake, and that's like we're kind of the main writers in the band, and then we send it to the drummer, and that's just kind of changed throughout member changes, and whoever kind of has the idea, I sit and work with them. But that's kind of our writing process, and that's just kind of what we've grown comfortable in doing. But the sound is definitely there's a different sound between each band member. So like when Jake and I's the other vocalist, like it always comes out a poppier, like just a poppier song, because that's what we kind of write the best. And then when I sit with Eli, my bass player, it usually comes out a little heavier and a little more technical. And then when it comes to sitting down with Pat, who's our other guitar player, it kind of comes out a little heavier. So the song styles will always kind of have one, like at least sound like us, because I'm not for a second going to sit there and say that like I'm like any main sound of the band, but I kind of always have like an idea or a general direction that I'd like the song to go in, so it all kind of stays like kind of us, but they kind of branch out into different styles. It just depends who I'm sitting and I'm writing with at the time.
And how do those all come together in one song? Like, say you take one song and you bring it to your Jake, and then your drummer, and then your bass player. How do you combine all those different sounds into one song?
So normally, to be honest, we don't really all get along when it comes to like writing a full song together. So what we do is we kind of like, if Eli has an idea or Jake has an idea, we will sit together and we will get the entire idea out, at least our full idea of what we think it sounds best that way. From there, I'll email it to the drummer. He'll put like his take on it and what he wants to do. And then once we get like a full idea that's at least listenable, like that's when I send it to the rest of the band, and that's when we all sit down and we'll talk about it and say like, I don't like this part, I like this part, but it's never like I write this part, Jake writes that part, Bean writes this part, Pat writes this part, and then we try and fit it all together. It's usually like me and somebody else will write it, send it out, and once Bean's got written his drums on it, we'll kind of all sit together as a band and see if we like the full direction of the song, and then we'll pick out the parts we don't like, and we'll kind of work those out as a band. That's pretty much how the songs come together.
Nice. Very legit. Holly?
Okay, sit.
No,
I heard like a vocal, and I was like, ugh. Anyway, kind of wanted to delve back into you. The one interesting thing that I find pretty cool is that you also own your own studio. And then coming back, like, because you're clearly immersed within the music scene from being in a band, but then having the history of just from going from YouTube covers and illustration to now having your studio booked up for 3 months. Where did the transition period come from that you were just like, you know what, I'm gonna now be producing some people's music.
Yeah, so like I said, I used to illustrate, and then kind of when I went to college, I just kind of stopped liking it. I think it was just the college that I went to, and the program just kind of sucked. And when I went to my first band, I never really paid attention to recordings. And once I kind of heard the difference between them, I just kind of heard what sounds better and what doesn't. And then when my other band went to our first studio, I ended up being more interested in like how the kid was making the sounds and like what he was doing than I was like actually recording our song. Like I was more just paying attention to what he was doing, and that just kind of transitioned me into like, that's really fucking cool, and that's creative, and that's kind of artistic in its own way, and that's exciting. Like I think I want to try doing that. And then I didn't realize how much of a friggin' money pit it was going to be, and here I am 5 years later, doing that. So that's just kind of how I found it. It's just kind of by accident, but like I was just so intrigued by like what he was doing, and just like, why are you watching the levels go the way they are? Like, what are you adding on the track right now? Why does it sound completely different than it did before? Like, what are you doing? So it was cool.
And like, how many bands have you kind of had the opportunity to collaborate with for their albums and their songs?
I probably worked with like, I don't know, probably 70 bands or so. So I mean, I've worked with a good number. It's hard to build because there's so much competition. I mean, there's other producers that do such good stuff like around the area. So I've just kind of had to slowly like build my reputation. But like over the past year, like it's definitely like gone up, and like people have just learned to like, well, have liked my sound, and they've liked working with me. But yeah, I've probably worked with like, I don't know, 70 plus bands, which is cool. I mean, I've gotten good experience there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, especially having the amount of people saying like, "Here, make me sound good," and it's like, "Oh, well, okay."
Yeah.
I mean, if you want me to. So.
Yeah, it takes a long time. It takes a long time, and just a lot of like, please come work with me. Like I promise, like I'll make you guys sound good. Like just please come work with me, because most people, like I was the same way when I went to my first band. I heard a studio, I liked their sound, and I was going to that studio regardless of who hit me up. So it's a lot of just trying to get people to actually trust you to come record. And the more I'm recording now, and the more bands that are coming in, and the better, obviously my reputation has gone up, and people really enjoy working with me, and it's just been a fun process. And now being booked until January, like I guess I'm pretty blessed to. Most people don't know what's going to happen next week if a band's going to come record, so having 3 months booked is awesome.
Sick, it's sick.
Since you've been with Boys of Fall and even your past bands, what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned in this industry, or just as a whole, as a person?
Biggest thing I've learned is that the music industry owes you nothing. Like it doesn't honestly, it doesn't matter like how hard you work and like what you think you deserve. They don't owe you anything. It's just you need to work your ass off, and you need to be in the right place at the right time, and talk to the right people, and be the right sound that they're looking for, and hope that you kind of get your chance. And we've been lucky enough that people have kind of given us our chance, and have liked our stuff and let us go the way that they are. But that's been the biggest lesson. Like you think that after 3 or 4 years of being in a band that you're owed this because you put the time in. You're not owed shit. You just need to keep hustling, and you need to keep working at it. That's probably the biggest lesson that I've learned.
I'm sure was that a hard lesson for you to learn?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's been plenty of times where it's just like you're irritated that you didn't get that tour or that show, or that this band got picked up and you didn't, or like you watched this person play with all these people and then they didn't watch you. Like it's just you just learn the lesson, and then you just kind of over time you just learn to expect less and be more grateful for when the good things happen and when the big things happen. You just learn to kind of take it all in for all the positives that it has rather than the I'm owed this type of mentality.
For
But
sure.
yeah, it's never an easy pill to swallow.
For sure. That's, yeah.
Now you talked about the music industry being unforgiving and things like that. So if you didn't have, if you woke up tomorrow, you didn't have your band, you didn't have your studio, what other part of the music industry would you like to be involved in?
Probably live sound.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes
live,
sense with all the producing and everything.
yeah, I don't know. I just enjoy I love being in a band and I love writing music and I love watching it come together. But my favorite part is when I get to actually take all that stuff that we've been writing and put it into a song and make it sound the best. And I love live show experiences, and I would love to be responsible for when a kid comes into a venue and watches their favorite band and just gets blown away by the live sound. Like I would love to be the one responsible for giving those people like the best sound that they hear. So like if I didn't have the studio and I didn't have the band, like I would love to do live sound. Like I think that'd be awesome.
The way that, are you done, Carly? You good?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Michael, the way that you've been talking, it seems that you know really well how to work smart in the industry, not just work hard, but work smart. And for me, that goes along a lot with when I think work smart is networking, marketing tactics, just knowing your way around. So how did you work smart with Boys of Fall? And I know I asked earlier about how you believe that the local Michigan music scene could grow, but any advice on anybody, any bands, if you want to get into production, if you want to get into sound, if you want to get into management in the music industry, what advice do you have?
Like I don't know. Like I never really like thought I had like a secret that got me to anywhere. But I mean, the one thing I would say is like, and this is meant in no disrespectful way. I think the music scene is a very sensitive community in like thought process and opinions and how people take each other. And the one thing I've learned is that no matter how you're feeling on a day or how you feel about something, you cannot be an asshole to anybody because it's always going to come back and bite you in the ass at some point. So I've just learned that like the best way, like if you want to go forward in your career and you want to be taken seriously and you want people to work with you, you need to have a good attitude. You need to be somebody that people want to work with, and that goes a long way for a band, for a manager, for a booking agent, for anybody. And you just want to be somebody that you want to work with. And I think by doing that, it's working smarter. You're taking away the aspect of you don't know how people are going to feel about you, because as soon as somebody likes you, you already have your chance at an open door of being like, well, I like that person, I'll give them a shot, or I'll give them a chance, or I'll talk with them, or I'll work with them, So I don't know if there's like a secret to it. I would just say don't be an asshole. I mean, it works for some people. I mean, look at Ronnie Radke, but I guess I just try not to be a dick to anybody, and I guess it's paid out for me so far. You're always going to have your moments, so there's always people that are going to treat you pretty shitty, and you can't really be nice back, but just try.
Yeah.
And even the Menzingers came to a realization that they don't even want to be assholes anymore. So it seems to be like a growing trend within the music community.
Yeah, you just want to be nice. Just
You want to be nice.
be nice. Don't burn bridges. Don't make people like not want to be around you. Be easy to talk to, and that by itself is going to open a lot more doors than thinking that you're owed anything or you're the shit or you're better than anybody else, because just people don't, especially in the music scene, from what I've seen and learned, like people just don't take kindly to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of like not being assholes and keeping a humble head about you, how has been the experience of just like playing a show for people and then like seeing that you actually have an active fan base. I mean, like, you guys are, and this by no means actually, like, defines an actual pop popularity, but you guys do have like 9,000 fans on Facebook, a good amount of followers on Twitter, and you'll have people go on your wall, and then you'll see people posting like, hey, you guys killed it tonight. Like, you have an active fan base.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that like? Just like, looking at a mass of people and you're like, ugh, you're all looking at me with awesome eyes.
Honestly, it's just really kind of cool. It's really humbling because like we'll sit there and like at our place and like we'll talk about this headliner that we're doing, and it's so stressful because in our head we'll be like, dude, there's only like 5 people that like us. Like there's like people don't give a shit. People don't like us, but then we'll go play a show and it's not by any means cocky, but we'll make the whole place go crazy or get the whole place into it. Like we just came home and we finished out our tour, and it was a Wednesday night. It was this place called the Token Lounge in Garden City that nobody goes to, and we're like, dude, there's gonna be 3 people here, and there's like 5 huge shows going on in Detroit, and then there was over 100 people there just for us. So it's like it's really just cool to see. Like we don't expect anything because when we go and people actually show up and actually get into us and are actually like stoked, it's more just like an awesome surprise and just like an awesome, just humbling feeling. Like, okay, this is cool because it's better to go in without expectations and be wowed than it is to go in with huge expectations and be let down. So we just kind of go with the flow, and it's really cool to see that people actually like care about what we do and actually like take the time to follow us and listen to us and like actually just have fun with us when we play live. Like it's just a lot of fun. Like I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm very thankful that we have a active fan base.
All right. So from here we're gonna jump right into your song showcase. The song that you had told us to play is gonna be "Pass Me By." Is there like any type of an intro that you kind of want to dive into before we go and play this tune real fast?
Yeah, this is going to be the second song in the EP. It's one of our more pop punk songs and more just kind of happy bouncy songs, and it's got a little bit of mix of the singing and the screaming, so it's just kind of a good blend to show of like what we are as a band. And it's our latest single that we just put out, so hope everybody likes it.
And okay, I am setting it thing up, and we will be listening to it in about 0.5.
All right.
Yay! So that was Pass Me By.
That was
Okay.
really awesome.
I don't know if people can hear me,
I
but
can hear.
I'm talking and I can't hear anything. So that was a song. I think I can hear. I think I can hear people now.
Can
you
you
hear us?
hear us?
Nope, I
That was-
can't. Melissa, take it.
My favorite part of that was that sick breakdown at the end. That was some good stuff. That was awesome.
Good stuff. I really like that song a lot for sure. But yep, that was Pass Me By off of Boys of Fault's EP when they release it. You can find it on Spotify. That's how I listen to it. Is it up on iTunes?
It is on iTunes.
It is on iTunes, so you can probably get it on every single music platform possible. So that is Babe Talk. Thank you everybody for joining in, tuning in. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And then,
Thank you guys for having me.
oh no, anytime. So yeah, from all of us, Ollie, Carly, James, and now Michael, we're gonna sign off. Anybody have any last words?
Stay positive.
Any closing thoughts, Michael? Any promotion you want to do?
If you haven't checked us out, check us out. It's Boys of Fall Official for Facebook, Boys of Fall MI for Instagram. We are Boys of Fall for Twitter. And we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're everywhere. So check us out, come to a live show, check out our YouTube. And thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And next week we're going to have another show. So come back again. Same time, same place. We're not going anywhere, and neither should you.
What is this, Nick at Night?
I am cheesy. Leave me alone.
No, that was great.
Joey from Full House.
Yeah.
So yeah, do we also go over any new stuff that's gonna be happening for Boys of Fall, or am I just like everything's covered and Melissa did? Yeah.
Melissa's pretty much amazing. So.
Oh, thank you.
All right, yeah. So Melissa said it all. So from behalf of everyone here at Babe Talk, we're gonna end tonight's show. Michael, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, say goodbye. You all say goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.